the Lakers have options. If I was the Lakers, I would probably be targeting the Memphis Grizzlies as a trade partner
for
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, that'd be a great fit.
I would.
For whom?
Well, that's the thing, because you got to figure out the package. But some way, somehow, I would be trying to get Jaren Jackson, maybe get back G.G. Jackson and Jackson Associates, because he's a young player that you can develop, got good size, can shoot the ball. But I think if you're building around Luka going forward, which they are,
you need a guy like that.
You need that anchor. And Jaren doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. They just put Ja Morant on the market, right? Saying that they're willing to trade him, et cetera.
It's a great call.
So I think that would be a trade partner for me. Now, the package just goes out is what you have to decide. Because if you're able to trade out expirings and give up the last first-round pick you got, that could be one scenario, right? Or you can say, let me withhold that, but this comes with
Reeves.
This comes with a very unemotional attachment because Austin is beloved, which he should be.
But he's about to get paid.
He's an underdog. And here's the thing. If there's a world where you can do what's best for your team and do what's best for Austin, because Austin deserves to get paid right now. I love him as a Laker, but if that is a situation where we get in balance, because if you put all the money into just the backcourt, and then you're kind of like your flexibility is restricted going forward to fill out the rest of the team, then that's kind of like riding when you used to have the training wheels on your bike, but the one training wheel is off and it kind of leans. That's kind of like that, right?
Listing.
And I think people, so that's one aspect of it. But if you can keep Austin, have Jaren some kind of way, have Luka, they're going to take up most of your money. And then I'm not saying
but harder to flesh out the roster.
And I don't get into the whole discount for any player.
Sure.
And I don't know what Austin's value may be to the Lakers or anybody else. He's going to get paid a lot of money, and he's earned that. He deserves it. But if you can maintain that some kind of way, and that gives you a balance. But
it's hard in the NBA with the aprons
very hard.
to have redundancy.
But that would be
like if you have redundancy on your team, that usually means there's a weakness somewhere else that you're better off using the resources where you're redundant to go address. Austin Reeves on ball, can score really well, do all these things. They have a guy like that already. They're better and who doesn't play any defense. So you need someone to balance out the defense at another position.
Yeah, but Austin would get his money. Memphis would definitely pay Austin.
Right.
He would become probably their
leading scorer
or their point guard. It depends on.
Still their leading scorer.
Leading scorer for sure. Leading scorer, yes. He'd probably be their point guard for now, but definitely be their highest paid player, et cetera. But that would be, regardless how it goes, whatever the package may be, that would be my target for the Lakers.
That's a great idea.
If you're doing that, and if I have those two pieces to start from, right? And I know everybody wants this to be LeBron's last year. Hopefully it's not LeBron's last year. Whatever that looks like going forward, that's yet to be seen. But if you have those two pieces on your board, and then now I'm looking at how to fill in the rest of the blanks, that's a good starting point. Now, that doesn't guarantee you a championship tomorrow, but it gives you some building blocks. Mm-hmm. It definitely gives you some building blocks. And when you look at Jaren Jackson, he can shoot the three.
And the age is right. The same
They're in the same draft.
Career. Yep.
They're in the same draft,
I remember thinking.
So Rich Paul is making the rounds. What he said, him being on podcast ain't helping LeBron. I know I heard LeBron said that he ain't had nothing to do with what Rich Paul talking about, but he said basically, I put it in there, he want to trade Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr. For my belief. That's an interesting trade. And I'm a kind of, you know, justify what he said. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just justifying it, right? Now, one of the reasons I'm going to justify with what he's saying is to the point of this. And check out the NBA Talk playlist, right? NBA playlist. Austin Reeves and Luka, it's not a great backcourt, you know. I think you seen Jalen Brunson. He left Luka. He did well. I don't think people like playing with Luka. So it's not a guarantee that Austin Reeves is going to return to play with Luka, right? Now, maybe you remove LeBron from that scenario and they feed off each other and they play well. I know he loved the Lakers. I know he loved being in LA. Honestly, you got to see who got money next year. LA would like to sign and trade him. Where would he feel like he's a great fit? Would he go down to Atlanta, replace Trae Young? In that situation, I'm pretty sure he wants to win. You don't want to leave LA and lose. You'll rather be in LA and lose than be somewhere else and win sometimes, you know. But I know he want to win. You know, maybe the Knicks can do something for him. You know, maybe Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, they can do that deal. Maybe the Lakers want to be wild and do Donovan Mitchell for Austin Reeves. They're where for Cleveland, you can allow Garland to do what Garland do. And then Austin Reeves, I think a Garland would be a better fit, in my opinion. Not saying they should or shouldn't do it. They need a big man. So you're looking at teams with big men and ain't too many great big men, you know. Maybe you look down in Dallas and maybe, you know, sign and trade in the summer. You take Gafford or you take the other big fella, like Lively, you know, maybe get a package of players from Dallas again. I know they don't want to do a deal with y'all again. So we'll see, you know, maybe San Antonio is willing to do something with them. Just throwing ideas out there. You know, maybe San Antonio willing to give y'all. I mean, I don't think him and Fox will work together. And that's the crazy thing about it. So I'm not sure. Jeremy Sokan, I don't think they will give up that Vessel. So they're not giving up Ryan Harper's son. So that's the wild thing about it. You know, can De'Aaron Fox and Luka, can they, you know, feng shui in the backcourt? I don't think so. You know, would he want to go to New Orleans? I mean, would he want to go to Houston? That's interesting. You know, I know they ain't gonna come off Amen Thompson, or the big fella. Golden State. I mean, you know, do you believe enough in Kuminga, Moody, maybe somebody else? So, you know, you just thinking off the top of the head, places, you know, he can go. Brooklyn have anything you want? You know what I'm saying? So to be honest, him and Jaren Jackson Jr., I think from the standpoint, Luka playing the pick and roll guy that could defend the bucket. The biggest issue is that, you know, Jaren Jackson don't rebound. That's the biggest issue here. If he rebounded, I mean, Memphis probably continue to build around him. He's soft, you know, just hate to say it, you know, I don't think he want to mix it up. He want to be Kevin Garnett. He want to be a guard. He want to be KD. And, you know, so from a situation standpoint, you know, really you getting AD all over again from a standpoint. He really don't want to play the 5. He want to be a perimeter player. And that's why I feel like he really ain't embraced the grind of rebounding and bumping and being physical. I think his dad was in the league too. So I think he a little bit he's a Nepo baby. So, you know, him and Luka be nice, but you know, the reason Rich Paul is saying that is because Jaren Jackson Jr., he get Luka space. Jaren Jackson Jr. can defend the bucket. He can defend on the ball, and he give Luka that space. But the problem is you're still going to need a 5. So, you know, like I said, if you can get Mitchell Robinson next year, but the problem with Mitchell Robinson is he can't play a lot of minutes. You know, Robinson, Jaren Jackson, you got Jaren Jackson that allow Mitchell to play the middle, you know, and still give Luka some space. So it's going to be difficult. You have some money with LeBron probably clearing up, but I see why he say it. Because you can't find another big fella to put with LeBron right now. But he still ain't the 5 that they're looking for. They still need to find the 5. You know, you go look, Porzingis might be free next year, but he always injured. So you need that 5. You know what I'm saying? You want that 5 that you can build around for a long time. So, but I see why he said, but honestly, a lot of people say, yeah, Austin Reeves, I would give Austin Reeves, you know, because you can't find the 5. You can't find the big fella. You can't find the big fella. That's the problem. You know, do you go out to Brooklyn and try to get Nicholas Claxton? You know, so that's why you trade something to get something. But I get it. Jaren Jackson he defend, but he don't rebound. So, honestly, you can keep Austin Reeves and try to do a deal for Joel Embiid next summer. You got some money clear, but then Joel Embiid and Luka break down at the same time. So, and then also you got to bring Austin Reeves back. So, will he do a sign and trade if he walk away? I mean, it's interesting, bro. It's real interesting. Do you look at Jared Allen? Can you put a deal together to get Jared Allen from Cleveland? You put Jared Allen there. You go with Jared Allen, Luka, Austin Reeves, and then hopefully next year you can convince somebody to play on the wing with those guys. That's the $1 million question. That's the $1 million question, man. So honestly, can you win a championship with a backcourt of Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic? See, the thing about Luka, and I'm gonna explain this, and I ain't saying it because they two white boys, right? The reason I'm saying this is because with Luka, you need a balance, and that's why Jalen Brunson used to come off the bench. Next to Luka, you need a Klay Thompson type of guard. You know what I'm saying? A guy that can defend and shoot the three. Low ball maintenance. Low basketball maintenance. He don't need the ball. He can move. He can space the floor. He can catch and shoot. That's what they really need next to Luka. Now, if they're going to get another dominant secondary scorer, more than likely you want that to be a Joel Embiid, Jaren Jackson Jr., Anthony Davis type of guy. That's probably what you want with him. But if you also going to need another guy to come off the bench, that's going to be a Vinny Johnson, Manu Ginobili. That's going to be those type of guys. You know what I'm saying? Deion Waiters, Lou Williams. So they're going to need that power scorer off the bench. And you're going to need probably another big fella that can score and get you 20 points a night, 10 rebounds, somewhere around there. And then you just need that catch and shoot guy that's going to be good for 18 to 20 a night. Basically just catching and shooting and cutting like Klay. So that's really the recipe around Luka. You need guys that can defend. You need guys that got low ball usage. But then you need a high ball usage, maybe a couple, one or two high ball usage guys off the bench, like a Cam Thomas, somebody that can come off the bench, a Malik Monk, that can really get it for you. But other than that, you might need a traditional big fella to come in and bump and grind a little bit. No Diddy. But that's what you need around Luka, because Luka is so ball dominant and he tough to play with. He don't play no defense, so everybody got to compensate for him not defending. He's a whiner. He's not a great leader because he's a whiner. He's a complainer. And also, he's high ball usage. He too high ball usage. He hasn't learned to play without the basketball, and he doesn't make nobody better. So you have to tailor make. That's why probably Dallas got rid of him. You got to tailor make the team away to a skill set, or you have to convince him to play off the ball. And if he learned to play off the ball, he actually pretty much like it. He get a lot more easier looks. His 3-point percentage will go up. His field goal percentage will go up. He'd be more fresher. He'd be more fresher down in the playoffs. He wouldn't be as tired neither, because he wouldn't be going 1-on-5 all the time and doing everything. But, Phil Jackson had to convince Michael to take the ball out of his hand and trust Scotty and trust Ron and trust Kerr and trust Paxton and trust Horace Grant. He had to teach Michael to trust. He had to teach Michael to trust. So right now, it's no trust. No trust with Luka. And if Jason Kidd can't, one of the greatest point guards of all time, can't get that out of him, I don't think it could be done. So if you was wondering why Dallas traded Luka and didn't want to hand him $300 million, they still got to pay Luka. I think you're starting to see it in real time. So hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. You can find me on, hit the link tree. First link there, find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, the whole nine. Peace.
Now we get to the good stuff. There has been an enormous reaction to what you said about the Lakers and Austin Reeves on Monday.
Yes, it has.
There's been an enormous reaction. I'm talking about articles coming out. Rich Paul is ruining the Lakers. You can be entertained by, there's a ton of choices for entertainment. If you want to know what's going on, if you want to know what people would be talking about the next day, subscribe.
My man Reg, who happens to be Austin's agent, we talked. This is my guy. I mean, I've known him for 20 years. And he said, Rich, I didn't watch the show. So, okay. So we talked about it. And I'm like, look, Reg, you my man. And I want Austin to know this is not about Austin Reeves, because one, love the player, love the person. And two, I actually need him to help me with my golf game. I believe it's very complimentary to AR because he's on a team with 2 future Hall of Famers, and he happens to be the asset. So I'm not trying to mess up anything with AR.
I don't remember I think it was I who brought up
You brought it up.
Reeves, because you were saying this is how they could get him, and you were talking about draft picks and matching salaries and expiring.
But see, I'm starting to figure this out now, Max. I think you're doing this shit on purpose.
I'm setting you up.